This is a 2012 1SS Camaro, and I lit up my door sills with, or door jambs with lights bought from AutoZone. There's somebody else selling them online, and if I did it their way, which their way is about 2 foot long, I have 3 foot, but theirs is about 2 foot long, it would be about the same price, but theirs may be more suited for installing. I had to do a little engineering. I haven't bought theirs, so I'm not sure. There's a picture of the one they're selling online. I think they're just selling the part for the door sill. And here is mine at night. And looks pretty good. So how I did this, what I used is it's kind of curved in here, so it was difficult. Either would have to go up underneath here, or it'd be curved out, pointing up. So what I had to do, this is 3 segments of 12 inches, and it's 3 foot long. So what I had to do was just at the top part. Let's see if I can lift it up. Yeah, just at the top part of it, not the bottom, just covering the top part of the LED strip. I put double-sided tape. The double-sided tape is kind of thick. See, I got some over here. This is not the one I used, but it's about that thick. So I didn't. And what else I did was, for the adhesive, I just used silicone, like regular silicone that you'd use in a fish aquarium or on a house. And the reason I did that is because it holds it in place very well. And if I change my mind or make a mistake, it's not that hard to get off. If I put something like liquid nail or something, once it's there, it's there. I mean, I can't reverse it. When the strips go out, it'd be really hard to get it off. With the silicone, I could pretty much peel it off if I had to. And it worked out really well. And the double-sided tape on top and not on bottom caused it to not have thickness on bottom, but only thickness on top. And it caused it to point outward. So that's why it worked out well with the double-sided tape on top half, but not the bottom. And I even overlapped a little bit because it goes up underneath there. And one problem I had was back here. This kept coming off, this part right there. It was hard to hold in place while the silicone dried. So I took this thing right here. This is actually cut off the package. No, it's part of the packaging. It's just clear plastic that was in the packaging of the LED strips, and part of it went underneath this. Part of it went underneath the bolt and then pressed up against the strip, and I taped it down so it would not move, and just turned the LED light off inside the car. I turned the dome light off inside the car and slightly shut the door. Shut the door, it was slightly open, and left it that way for most of the day. Now, how I wired it is back here, back behind this right here. There is a wire harness. They're all wrapped together, and there is a gray wire that goes to the dome light. But there are 3 gray wires, so I had to get the right one. And you can see a picture of it right here. Yeah, that strip right there has 3 gray wires. Well, the first time I got the first one wrong, and I cut it high on purpose, and I just took a utility knife and sliced off a little bit of the rubber so some metal was touching, and used a multimeter and touched the positive on the wire and the negative on something metal in the car, and turned it on and off the dome light to see if I was getting the right wire and getting a charge. I got it wrong the first time. The second time, I cut it down lower, and because the 2 gray wires were together and the other one was in the back of it, but the ones that were together, one of them was the right one. So the second time I cut it lower. I did that so that if the electrical tape came off by accident, they would not touch, the wires would not touch together. But I did find the right one the second time, and turned on and off the dome light, and I could see that that was the right one. And what I did, I forgot what they're called, but it's just slipping my mind right now. But they go around, it's like a little plastic barrel, and it goes around the wire, and it taps, wire tap, and it taps into it. I really don't like those. So what I did was, when I got the right wire, I spliced the rubber off in a section all the way around the wire, and then I added another wire to it. And you can see it coming off. I'm not sure if you can see it in the picture. Anyway, I added another wire to it, and I stripped off about that much of the next wire that I added to it, got about that much of bare wire on the end, and I wrapped it around the bare part of the gray wire, and then I soldered it, and then I put a bunch of electrical tape on it. And if you take a hair dryer and get real close to it, you can shrink that electric tape, and it makes it fit better. And for the ground wire, so the positive wire coming from the LED lights had to go to that gray wire to get power. The ground wire can be hooked up anywhere to metal part inside there. I think you can see it right there. So that's a 7mm bolt. I just loosened it enough to where I can stick the bare end of the ground wire. Just stripped off a little bit of ground wire, about that much of it, and where I had bare wire, and loosen the bolt up enough to where I could put it underneath there and then tighten it back down, and that worked fine. To run the wire, you can see right there. Yeah, right there is where it starts. So I'm gonna turn this off so it's easier to see. Yeah, right there is where it starts, and it goes up underneath here, and then to about right there. And if I pull this up, it comes off. I just pulled enough to run the wire behind it and pulled it tight to where it's not loose, or it's not hanging out, and pulled it tight, and then pushed it back down over the top of it, and it worked just fine. And it went in through there to where I needed it. And I haven't done it yet, but I've changed my mind, and I'm going to add a fuse link. The reason why is because there is no fuse for the dome light, and I am not a GM expert, and the dome light goes to a module, a computer module, and I just don't want to take a chance. And for these, just the door sills, there's about 3/4 of an amp. So the LED lights take very, very little. And another thing I had to do was change out the dome light. This light is plenty bright enough, but it used to be the regular, I forgot what they call them, the regular light bulbs. It was dim anyway, and when I added the LED lights, it made it even dimmer. But I put a LED light in my dome light, which that dome light takes very little electricity, and it allows all the lights on both door sills and the dome light to be plenty bright to get what it needs. They sell an extra bright dome light, but nobody buys it because that one's plenty bright enough, and it uses very little electricity and allows a lot of electricity to go to here. And but anyway, that is how I did it. I also did the floors, and the front and back, but I will make a separate video on that. To do just the door sills, it was a little over $70, and about $80. And if I would have done just a 2-foot section, it would have been about $54. And the one they're selling online, it's about a 2-foot section, it's about $50 or so for. So I mean, I didn't have to pay shipping, you know. I got it right away, but I don't know, theirs might be better suited for installing. But anyway, I made a separate video on how I did the floors.